Help me welcome to the stage from US, Eric and Marina Ward! Also, what I need to say is Marco has a huge relationship together with Marina, together with Eric.
I'm going to be a surprise speaker. Hope you guys don't mind. One thing I wanted to share with you is what I think is really important is the quality of the questions that we ask, because the quality of the questions will determine the quality of the answers, and the quality of the answers will help us live a better life. And oftentimes I believe that we ask the wrong questions, like why this is happening to me, like why I cannot reach this rank, why my team is not doing anything, why people are not listening to me, whatever your why may be. I think that there is a much more powerful way, and I'm sure all of you heard, like sometimes we in network marketing like to make things a little cheesy, the why that makes you cry. I'm sure all of you heard about it. But Jim Rohn said that the why, it's such an important question, because that why gonna help you to go through some of those tough times, to go through the challenges when things are not working the way you want it to work. That why gonna be that strong pull and push that will help you get through those challenges. But I'd like to take that why to a little bit next level. And I often ask myself, not just why, but why not? Why not me? Why not now? Why not me making something happen? And that why not concept helped me in my life in so many powerful ways that I can't even tell you guys. So every single time something happens and I face with a challenge or something, I was like, okay, why not me figuring it out? Why not me finding a solution to this problem? Why not me showing my kids what's possible? Showing them their mama is a badass and they can do a lot of amazing things. Why not me helping and empowering women? Yes, and I see this room is full of women, and yes, we are 77% of the worldwide population that representing the network marketing profession. So first of all, ladies, give yourself a big round of applause. And men, please do the same thing too. Because we are a powerful force of nature. And I wanted to show the women what's possible. That's why for 10 years, I hosted the event for the most powerful women in network marketing, showing how to take this business to the next level. So every single time I face with a challenge, I ask myself, why not? And I would encourage all of you to ask yourself, why not? Why not you taking things to the next level? Why you not inspiring your own kids and your own next generation and being the most powerful woman in your own family? Why not? Or a man? And so if you think about it, like what are the things, and we just started the 2026, what are the things that you gonna tackle with the question, why not? What are the things that you're gonna give yourself permission this year to reach that level? And ask yourself, why not? Why not hitting that next rank? Why not going to the next trip? Why not me being a number one? I know Marco is the one who is a top income earner and number one, right? You're still number one in the company? I think why not challenge that? Should we? Go close, right? We should be. How many of you want to challenge Marco? I love you, Marco, but come on, like how many ladies want to take that spot? Right? Why not? Why not? Why not all of you taking the higher imagination and higher vision to yourself? But one thing, and I want to wrap up with this, I want to tell you that the moment you decide that you want to take something seriously and you're going to tackle things with a why not thought, the universe is going to start testing you. And it's going to be a serious test, because the universe will start seeing, like, are you for real or you're just kidding? And all the stuff that you could possibly imagine cannot go wrong will go wrong. Everything. You're gonna have a flood in your house, or something, the sky gonna start falling, the things, like kids gonna start screaming bloody murder. It's like whatever you can possibly imagine to go wrong will go wrong. But here's the thing, if you are able to withstand that storm, if you are able to stay strong and say, you know what, I got this. You know what, I'm gonna be strong enough to show what I'm made of. And I can promise you, the universe eventually will back off. Once the universe realizes that you are for real, it will back off. And when I was building the studio, I had so many challenging times because it was really hard. It was much more expensive. It was much harder than we anticipated. And for a period of time, I felt like I'm in a tornado, standing in the middle of it. And everything that could possibly fall on me fell and hit me hard and harder every single day. But you know what? I kept standing through tears, through uncertainty, through challenges. I kept standing, and finally, the universe says, like, you know what? Looks like this chick is for real, so I better let her go and help her instead. Thank you. And that same tornado, all of a sudden, started pulling the right people, the right opportunities, the right connections, the right pieces of the puzzle into my picture. So I wish to all of you to, yes, go through that storm, but stay strong in that storm, and eventually be that magnet to attract the right people into your organization, to attract the amazing customers that you can help with your products. Because you guys have an amazing product, and more people should know about it, but that comes with you becoming a better and a stronger leader. So thank you so much for allowing me to spend a couple of minutes with you guys. I appreciate you, and have an amazing rest of your event, all right?
Give you a little bit of background, but then I'm going to talk about leadership, if that's okay. How you can go to the next level, how you can help other people go to the next level. Because in my opinion, the company, the product's good. It's scalable, it's ready to go. The only thing that's required is more leaders. Stronger leaders and more leaders. We need quantity and we need quality. Every single market. It's not about the geography, it never is. It's never about, oh, we got to open in this country or that country. It's never about geography. It's not about whether they like network marketing or not, entrepreneurial or not. The only thing that matters is when a leader shows up. When a leader shows up, the market takes off. We've seen that in market after market after market after market, and that will continue to be true. And I'll say one thing, just to open up something to put into your thoughts, and I'll come back to it. There's a huge difference between earners and leaders. Earners come and go. Earners are here today and gone tomorrow. Leaders, those are permanent. Those will continue to reinvent themselves. Those will continue to nurture and mentor and grow other people to come up and take their spot as they move up higher into the structure, higher into their own cause, their own purpose, okay? So understand, I heard, and I hope it's okay, can I share the 363 you said? 383 people on the team that are making more than $50,000 a month.
No, a year.
A year. More than $50,000 a year, okay? Well, where are they? Shouldn't they be here?
Yes.
You know, it would be like a free trip. They earned it from just being involved in the company. It'd be like, no problem. Well, some of them are earners. Some of them get comfortable very, very quickly. Isn't it strange, the comfort level of different people? Some people get to $1,000 a month, they're done. It's like they won the lottery. They're just going to kick back and just continue to get that $1,000 for as long as the company's going to pay it. Some hit that comfort level at $2,000. Some hit it at $5,000. Some hit it at $10,000. Some hit it at $20,000. Some hit it at $30,000. But I mean, the amazing thing about our profession is there are no caps. And your paycheck is a reflection of the value you're bringing to the world. The number of people that you're helping, the number of people that are benefiting from your product, the number of entrepreneurs that are able to express themselves and have choices and options and freedom to be able to move forward in their life a little bit more comfortably than they were before you showed up, right? So all of these things are tremendous, and you're here because you're hungry. You're here, I hope, because you're ready to go to the next level.
Yes.
You're not here just to see how long you could hold on to this check. Some people are. That's their whole mentality. How long can I keep this income? I want to just, their whole method of operation is maintaining. And then there's people who said, no, there's another level for me. I'm ready to go to the next and the next and the next. So, I got started in this profession a long time ago, 37, almost, well, 2 weeks ago, it's be 38 years ago, something like that, long time, before many of you were born. 1988, right? That's the January 1988, January 20th. I got introduced to this profession. And I had no money, I was dead broke. I was hungry, but I had no money. I had all kinds of viruses in my software that was keeping me from being successful. I had 18 jobs by the time I was 23 years old. The only thing I was good at was starting over. I mean, I was really good at that. I did every entry-level job you could possibly do. And the last job that I had was selling real estate for a little firm that my father and his partner had started. And one day, his partner, his name was John Joyce. You ever have that? You remember the first mentor you had, or the first person outside of your family that believed in you, maybe more than you did? That was my dad's partner. His name was John Joyce. He believed in me. He saw, when he looked at me, I could see he saw something, and it was just like, wow. And it made me believe in me a little bit, right? So he came to my desk one day in our little real estate office and said, I think I have a way for us to make some extra money. I needed money like oxygen. I was so broke. I had started a little family. I was already behind on my promises. And I was scared that if I didn't figure something out pretty quick, isn't it funny to feel scared at 23? To me, today, it's funny to feel scared at 23. But I was scared that if I didn't figure something out, I was going to be living a tiny little life for forever. And we got in the car and we drove to this guy's house. And man, I got to tell you, today is different than then. We get to this guy's house. John Joyce was a millionaire. The guy that we went to had this Arabian horse farm, and he was a millionaire. And he pulled out a VHS cassette. Remember those? And he pops it in and said, just watch this video, and you're going to be amazed. And we witnessed the most ridiculous video you've ever seen in your life. It was everything that the FTC would shut down. It was mansions and helicopters and limousines and people with testimonials, 2 months ago I was homeless and now I'm making $20,000 a month, It's like over and over and over, this whole hype video. And it was corny and it was hypey. And in the United States they have this show called Shark Tank. You seen that? Dragon's Den, I think they have that, whatever they call it in the UK. But so I'm sitting on the couch like, this has to be a joke. It has to be. So at the end, the video business said, gentlemen, thanks for inviting me, but based on what I've seen, I'm out. No thanks. But then they said, that's okay, you can wait. We're probably going to do it. So millionaire number one and millionaire number two is going to do it. My dad is going to do it. And I'm sitting over here dead broke. And I'm like, well, the only thing worse than the embarrassment of this video was the idea that maybe they'd be successful and I'd be left behind. And I'd have to watch it. So the real issue is I had no money, nothing. So I pulled my dad aside and swallowed my pride again. I said, Dad, I know you've given me a lot of loans in my life. Would you consider one more? Maybe this will work out. Maybe this will be the thing. I've been trying to find my thing. Maybe this will be the thing. And he said, okay, sure. I'll give you a loan. So I got started. And I would love to tell you that I was a straight shot to success. Some of you, I've met a few of you already that are in this room who started last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. You're already having success. That was not me. I mean, the very, very beginning, I had just a little bit, enough evidence to quit my job. I just had the tiniest little bit of evidence, quit my job, And as soon as I quit my job, everything fell apart. My whole team quit. Like literally. I remember I went full-time my third month. My full-time check was $1,098.60. And that was not enough to pay the rent. That was not enough to pay the bills. And emotionally, when I got the check, I quit. I said, I'm done. My upline's not helping me. You know, my downline, bunch of losers. The company doesn't provide any training. How do they expect a guy like me? They won't give a kid a chance. I'm 23. Nobody will give me any respect. But the best thing that ever happened to me, I gotta tell you, the best thing that ever happened to me, you know what it is? I had no place to go. Where was I gonna go? See, it would have taken me 90 days to build back something in real estate to get a check from that moment. I wasn't going back to food service, being a waiter at a restaurant. I wasn't going to do that. So some of you have all kinds of, every one of these doors might be a different option. You're sharp people. You could make money a lot of different ways. You could take care of your family's needs a million different ways. For me, like all the doors were closed except for network marketing. So, and even though I was mad at it, and because I was very, very good at blaming other people for my problems. I was terrible at taking responsibility. So, I don't know if some of you aren't old enough, but there used to be a music collection called Jock Jams. And it was all this hypey, like workout music. And every day I would listen to that audio to psych myself up for just one more day. I'm just gonna work today as hard as I can and do as much income producing activity as I can. And by the end of the day I'd be exhausted. And the next day I'm only gonna promise today. I'm gonna do today. Listen to it again, do it again, do it again, do it again. And slowly but surely, I started to be able to, make enough to be able to cover my minimums, and then make enough to be able to start to pay down a little bit of debt, and make enough to just be able to be somebody in this business. And I would love to tell you, we'll walk around, that's okay. I would love to tell you that I figured out duplication. But I didn't. I had addition and subtraction. That's all I had. I would add people and I'd lose people. And I'd add people and I'd lose people. And I watched, how many of you been to the Zinzino convention? Yeah, you've been? How many been more than once? How many been to more than 5? Okay. I remember the first one I went to. Oh my gosh, I'm pressed up against the glass. Get me in there. Get me up as close as I can get. You see the recognition when they get the people going across the stage? First time you saw the recognition, remember? First time, you're like, oh my gosh, that's me. Right? And you realize there's different kinds of recognition. There's stand-up, sit-down recognition. Stand up if you're this level, okay, sit down. You know? And then there's fast walk recognition. Like you get up good on stage, but your photographer has to be amazing because you gotta like walk fast. You're waving fast, but they gotta get a lot of people across, right? And then there's slow walk recognition. You walk a little slower, paused by one of the VPs, hold up your plaque or your pin or something, and then keep moving, because they're announcing the next person already. And then, for the big shots, it's like the Academy Award. They come out, they give them flowers and crown and cake and a scepter and a trophy, right? And they go up to the thing and they say, I just want to thank my team. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. And my parents, they're here in the room, stand up, mom and dad. Right? First time I saw one of those, I'm writing my speech. That's going to be me for sure. I'm going to smash this. Because I'm getting that moment. Right? It's not like the Oscars. You don't have to be best actor. You can earn it just by numbers. And they have to give it to you. Right? So, and then I went home, right? And then life got in the way. And all the little distractions and all my procrastination and everything kicked in. But one thing that I always did is I always came back to the next one. So the first run I was the closest I could be, like second row. The next one I'm like, middle. And the recognition happens again. Oh, pull out my old speech. Make another commitment, go home. And if you've been to these enough, right? For me, the recognition started to hurt a little bit. Has it ever hurt for you?
Yes.
Ever gotten painful?
Yeah.
It got painful for me. I'm just talking about to this as a leadership room, okay? Because people not in this room would not understand that. Not unless you have strong ambition, you don't feel that pain, right? But it started to be painful to watch these Forrest Gumps walk across the stage. Because you know these people now. You know them. Charlie, here comes Charlie. He's going to get another award. He doesn't even know how the compensation plan works. What the heck? Right? Susan doesn't even know how the product works. She has 423,000 people on her team. Accepting another award. I don't know how it happened. Shut up, Susan. Right? You get some guy, and you're cynical now. You're sitting in the back. You're cynical. You're just like, oh, get this over with. Train me. Give me something. I don't need any more recognition. Here comes Frank. He's going to cry. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Told you. We get very familiar inside this world we live in. So 3.5 years I went through that. 3.5 years. And I went to a convention with the purpose of quitting. I'm serious. Dead serious. If somebody looked at me wrong, I was out. I was so fed up. I was so mad. I didn't understand it. Why? I'm working hard, I'm sincere. I want this, I'm hungry. Why can I not figure out duplication? What is the matter with me? There must be something. Here's the most painful part of that, is there must be something wrong with me. Because if these people can do it, and I can't, it has to. I'm the only common denominator. Me. So, the night before this convention, it's in Orlando, Florida. I'm watching CNN, and there's some obscure expert talking about some crazy topic. And what pops into my head is, how does a person become an expert at that? This crazy topic. Well, he must have read all the books and become interviewed everybody and learned all the things there is to learn. And then when CNN needed him, he's the guy. All him. I don't even remember what the subject was, but it stuck in my head. The next day, recognition's happening. And it was one of these moments in my life where everybody else disappeared. All the noise went away. There's like a little spotlight on my head in the middle of the audience. And I said, hold on. What if I let go of timing and positioning and luck and trying to find the right person and the magical system? What if I let go of all that stuff and I just become so good that I can't be ignored? What if I become an expert at this? What if I let go of results in the short term and just decide I'm going to become world class at this? If I do that, because I've been focused on luck and timing and positioning Frank's successful because he got lucky with that person who joined his downline and created all the success. I had all the rationale reasons and all that stuff that I was justifying my lack of performance. But I gotta tell you, if you've ever had this anxiety, wondering why there's this ceiling, whatever you might be experiencing a ceiling right now, why that ceiling is there, right? That was what I had. And in that moment, I went, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna stop expecting things from my downline. I'm gonna stop expecting things from my upline. I'm gonna stop expecting things from the company. I'm gonna just become great at this. And in the moment of that decision, the dominating emotion that I had up until that moment was fear. Fear that I wasn't enough, fear that I lived in the wrong place, I was in the wrong group, I couldn't attract the right people, fear. And in the moment of the decision, I'm going to become professional, the fear went away. It was gone. And I had a plan. I looked around the room and I said, well, who's the best person at finding prospects? I'm going to go figure out what they do. Who's the best person at inviting? Who's the best person presenting? Who's the best person following up? Who answers objections and questions better than anybody else? Who can help people make a decision? Who gets customers? Who keeps customers longer than anybody else? What do they do? So I became an investigative journalist to figure out what all the great people did, and I just practiced that until I was great at it. And it didn't take long. Once I made the decision, I learned a few things, obviously, in that process of due diligence, of figuring out what it takes to really be a professional, not just hope that you're in the right place at the right time. But 3.5 years later, first 3.5 years, I'm full time. I have a pin. I'm known. People know who I am. I'm somebody. I'm a big shot in my local city. Not free at all, really, right? Not free. But then 3.5 years later, I'm 29 years old, and that year, my 29th year, I made $980,000. Right? That was very profound. And that started a series of years for me where I was one of those $1 million guys. Wild. Built organizations all over the world and learned an awful lot of things. And I made a decision in 2009, after having been around this profession for a long time, that what ended up happening is Jim Rohn was at the last months of his life. And it was known that he didn't have much time left. And the internet was just starting to become a thing. So I was like, what would have been really cool is if Mr. Rohn had a little camera in his pocket, and instead of all those audio programs, there was little videos of him doing stuff around the world. That would be cool. It's too late for him now to do that, but maybe I could do that. So there's a guy in the United States, his name's Gary Vaynerchuk, he's a big marketing guy. And he had started he was doing daily videos back then, and I flew to New Jersey and paid him for some time and said, I want to do this for network marketing. He said, great. He gave me his little playbook. And I started March of 2009. This little thing called Network Marketing Pro. No agenda. I'm just going to put out stuff that I've learned over the course of my career, and hopefully it lands on good people, and they'll be able to take it and make something happen with it. And that turned into a thing. And then the GoPro book came out in 2013. And we started doing annual events and everything else. That leads to today, I have a very unique view, and that's what I'm going to spend the next 30 minutes sharing with you. I have a view of the world that might be unique in the world. I work with over 100 different companies all over the world. I work with many of the top earners in the world. I know exactly what's working today. I know what's not working. I know where people are struggling and where people are succeeding, where education is happening, where leadership growth is happening. And having worked with all these different people, I want to share some thoughts with you. Because I think leadership's everything. It's the whole game. Name of the game is leadership. If you don't have leadership, it doesn't matter what you have in revenue. And our business is very predictable. And in that prediction, there's some encouragement, and there's also a warning. I want to give you a little both, if that's okay. Okay? Can I be very straight with you?
Yes.
Okay. All right. When it comes to leadership growth, real leadership, not earners, but leaders, people who are making stuff happen. I have 5 characteristics that I have in my head when it comes to a leader. I'll give you these 5. These are my 5. You can determine what your 5 are. But 1, a good leader is independent. I don't mean lone wolf out on their own. I mean they're not needy. They don't need anybody else in order to be able to go do business. They're independently operating. They can be. They can also collaborate, but they're not needy people. Number 2, they're excellent problem solvers. They're solution oriented. When a problem shows up, they solve it quick. They don't create problems, they solve them. They're very, very good at it. Number 3, they're consistent. They have a baseline of consistency that they never fall below, because that baseline of consistency is like a security blanket for their team. It causes the team to be more productive. If they're inconsistent, it causes the team to be less productive, right? So, independent, problem solver, consistent. Number 4, they have a big vision, and they have the ability to communicate that vision to others in a way that's exciting and inspiring. Causes people to see a bigger picture, yeah? And number 5, they create action. They cause people to do more than they were going to do. Somebody gets around them, they were going to do nothing, they do a little something. If they were going to do something, they do something more. They'll do it faster. If they were going to get to a particular rank in the organization, they'll cause them to get there quicker. Right? So those are my 5. You can determine what your 5 are. But I want you to think about something. Are any of those 5 particularly hard, difficult?
No.
Are they all possible?
Yes.
Yes. Now, here's the crazy question. How many people do you have in your entire organization that, in your opinion, have all 5? How many? In your entire team that have all 5. It's like, huh. And if you can't think of them fast, they're not one. Oh yeah, I forgot about so-and-so. No. You know these people. They're driving the markets. They're driving the teams. They're making stuff happen. They're creative. They're constantly thinking about increasing productivity. Yeah? So, you know what I found out? You know what it takes on average, around the world, for a person to make about $1 million a year? You know what it takes? How many? About 20.
Wow.
Just 20. Not 200, not 2,000, but 20. Huh. So, who's going to be sure how many they have? How many do you have? Anybody? How many do you have, Marco?
Probably max 15, 20, and I'm $1 million.
20, okay. No shame. Anybody? One? How many? 6. Okay. Who else? Anybody? 0? So, right, here's what Jim Rohn would say. We got to pay attention to the numbers. We got to change that 0. And 0 to a 1 is a big, big move. But then first principles apply. If he can get 6, you can get 6. If he can get 20, you can get 20. It's just a matter of get the one, get the next, get the next. If this is a focus.
Right.
But here's what I want to share with you. First of all, you are one of the bright, shining stories in the network marketing universe, Zinzino. You're special. You're built on a solid foundation. You've got sizzle. You've become sexy. Over the course of the last 5 years, yes?
Yes.
Different.
Yes.
Those who've been around, it feels different now, doesn't it?
Yes.
It shows what happens with consistency over time, attracting people that are tired of here today and gone tomorrow. They want something long term. You have built something excellent. Now, with true leadership, the 5 attributes, I've never seen an organization grow actual leaders, not earners. You can grow earners like crazy. Actual leaders more than 10% a year. I've never seen it. In 37 years, I've never seen a company grow actual leaders more than 10% a year. So here's the challenge. I looked this morning. Your annual growth, 2024 to 2025, 50%. Okay, so growth, let's just assume that that stays there. What was it the year before? Do you remember? 30 something?
And our team 70 last year.
And your team 70, right? So even more. Great, fantastic, wonderful. Leadership's here. Leadership's here. And when you're going 50%, is that a time where you will naturally build more leaders? Yes or no? No. You don't grow leadership in affluence. You don't grow leadership in abundance. You don't grow leadership when you're having exponential growth. Actually, you go backwards in leadership because everybody thinks that they're a genius. Everybody thinks they're a unicorn. Everybody thinks that they reinvented what it takes to be a network marketing superstar. Everybody starts being coaches and authors and speakers and have a side business over here and there. Entrepreneur on top of entrepreneur. Everything they touch turns to gold. Fantastic, wonderful. But 30%, 50%, 30%, 40%. I'll give you another example of another company. The essential oil people in the United States, so doTERRA and Young Living, they experience about 30% annual growth year over year for 10 years consecutive. They went from 12 years about. They went from 200 million to 2.2 billion. But in the process, leadership was down here. These people that were earning the money didn't know how it happened. Really, no kidding. So if revenue is here and your leadership is here, one of two things must happen. Either the leadership must rise, or what's the other alternative? The revenue will fall. And there will always be an excuse. There's always be something you can blame it on. Well, if we didn't change the comp plan, or if we would have had that product, we weren't on back order with this particular thing, if we would have launched this country properly, then we wouldn't have had a problem. Or if this negative media article didn't show up, or if this organization didn't raid our team in Czechoslovakia, or whatever. So even in Czechoslovakia anymore? Czechia, I think it's called. Czech Republic. So, whatever it is, right? There's always something you can blame, always. I worked with a company, and this is what I want you to understand. The challenge for leadership in the middle of abundance is maybe your most important task. You got to let people know that this is not normal, number one. This is not normal. We're going to take it. We're going to enjoy it, but this is not normal. No company grows like this every single year for forever. Some people on your team, this is all they've ever experienced. They've never experienced even this. They've only experienced up. Right? It's not normal. Number two, something will happen. We don't know what it is, but when it does happen, that's going to be our moment. We're going to be prepared. When other teams are not prepared, when other people are distracted, when other people get themselves all messed up or go into retirement or whatever, that's when we're going to double down. Because here's what happens. And I'm saying this to you because you're in the middle of it. You're in the middle of this magical growth. You're in the middle of this amazing momentum. Everything you're touching is working, right? At some point, and if I could pull up each one of your regions, I could show you region by region where they're at in this particular life cycle. Some of them are here. Some of them are here. Some of the regions are down. How could they be down? Because they used to be here. And leadership got soft. And here's all it takes for the team to lose its focus. Growth stalls for 6 months. It doesn't go up. You're working hard. Work harder. Your check doesn't go up. And then, what happens? You decide to not work hard for 90 days. And your check doesn't go down. And you go, oh, I guess this is where it is. And one by one, people go into retirement. Retire. And if you ask them, they will tell you, no, I'm working as hard as I ever did. But they're not doing what they did to get where they got in the first place. They're in maintenance mode. They've gone into a success coma. And at some point, here's what's going to happen. If it levels off, you'll see this because people start complaining about a bunch of different things. They'll start writing books. They'll start opening up coaching things. I'm going to be a life coach in addition to a top leader in the company. I'm going to be a life coach. They start building brands on social media just to build a brand. You know, lots of photo shoots. Tons of photo shoots. Getting their face on obscure magazines. You know? Be able to put the poster up on the wall. They got to do something. And their business got boring. So, here's what I'm sending this flare, this little warning flare, into the Zinzino universe. To be able to say, if you decide in this moment to be different, and to grow in the midst of abundance, to grow leadership intentionally, we're going to identify people with potential leadership qualities. We're going to mentor them until they're strong in those qualities. We're going to mentally set expectations that this is not normal. We're going to take it. But when it levels off, as it must at some point, that's going to be our moment. When everybody else loses the focus, that's when we're going to gain market share. If it declines, even better for us. You know, growing 70% when other people are growing 0, right? You know, guess what? This company can be yours. Percentage point by percentage point by percentage point. So, closing that leadership gap, if I could wish one thing for Zinzino to be known for, one thing, quality of leadership in the field.
Yeah.
That they're just good. They're solid. They've got the skills necessary to build a big business. They've got the mindset that works in good times and in bad. They've got innovation to be able to keep things creative because we have a repetitive business and sometimes you gotta just call it something else, even though it's the same stuff. And duplication of leadership. So there's kind of 3 aspects, right? First aspect is identifying people on your existing team that have the potential of becoming a leader. I'll give you my qualification. Usually, if they're willing, coachable, and hungry, that's enough to go to work with somebody and believe that they could possibly be a leader. Willing, coachable, hungry. They have to be all 3. If they're not all 3, they're not worth any of your individual time. Willing, coachable, hungry. All 3. Okay? And I'll give you a secret sauce. You want to find a secret sauce to be able to find somebody in your team that will be a superstar? Here's the secret sauce. Ready? They're never satisfied. Seriously. They're never satisfied. They're grateful. They might be grateful. They're appreciative. But they're not satisfied. They achieve an income. Great, wonderful. What's next? They get the pin. Fantastic. Thank you. What's next? They earn the trip. Fine. How many people on my team can be on a trip? Right? They don't throw too big of a party for too small of a position. They're just not satisfied at all. And they think there's something a little bit wrong with them. You know? Because I'm like that. Because I was just like, maybe there's something wrong with me. Because I'm restless. You know, as soon as I earn something, as soon as I achieve something, I'm restless. What's the next thing? I gotta figure out the next thing. Right? Still to this day, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? So here's what I'm just asking you to do. Look for that in your team. Look for that. What's the opposite of that? Comfort. What's the enemy of excellence? Comfort. Show me somebody that gets too comfortable too fast, and I'll show you somebody that has a lid on what they can do inside this business. Their own self-imposed lid. It's a real thing. But I stopped trying to take a person who is comfortable and make them uncomfortable. I just let them be. You know, there's people on your team that are making $10,000 a month, having the time of their lives. And they have no intention of going to 11,000. They're just fine. They're just going to ride this pony as long as it's going to pay. Great, good for you. That would be just terrible for me. You know what I mean? Just the idea of it. Of just the same. Next month, same. The month after that, same. Nope. I'm out. No thanks. I'm so bored already just thinking about it. I got to do something, right? So, think about this in terms of, as you look through your organization, the people get comfortable, let them find their way, and sometimes a comfortable person can become dissatisfied. It can happen. They're comfortable, they're part-time, comfortable, and somebody is abusive to them at their job. And they say, the heck with that, I'm done with that job. I'm never walking in those doors again. I'm going to walk into my Zinzino business. I'm going to go to the next level. Or they get inspired by somebody, seeing a story that they can relate to. And they go, oh my gosh, that could possibly be me. And it puts them on this journey of growth. So I think personal development starts this thing. It's part of the reason why personal development works so well in our world, because it starts us on what's the next thing. How can we develop ourselves and get a little stronger? How can we make this, how can we contribute bigger? We make it about other people, not just about ourselves. Oh, there's levels. One thing, as soon as I realized that this is like a game, life is a game. And there's levels. Oh, okay. And to beat the level, you gotta beat the boss. At that level, to get to the next level, and that's usually gonna be hard. Fun, beat the boss. Get to the next level. All right, fun, beat that boss. Oh, that boss. You might have to do that one 20 times. You might get some levels, you might have to do it 500 times to have a breakthrough. But if you're always looking for the next thing, it's going to help you. So I want you to identify those people, right? Find them. And as soon as you find them, create proximity with them. Create community with them. Create your own mastermind with them. Put them, attach them to your hip. Stay in communication. Don't let them out of your sight. They're very valuable things. And then step 2, after you identify them, you want to mentor them into leadership. Independent, problem solving, consistent, big vision. They create action. How can you mentor them into that skill set? And then third, once they get there, This is a higher level tip, pro tip. Learn to have the wisdom of staying in great communication with your top leaders. That's where things get weird in our business. Once a person rises up and they become strong, sometimes if you don't stay in a mutually respectful relationship, lots of communication, people can get their feelings hurt. This one creates a kingdom over there, that one creates a kingdom over here. They do it a little bit different. The field gets confused, the organization gets confused. Staying in relationship, mutually respectful with the great leaders that you develop on your team is more than just words, it's wildly. This is where weird stuff happens. I work with people who, their uplines are actively trying to destroy their own dominance. Actively. Their own check. Their own group. Actively. Maliciously. Aggressively. Personally. It's like, wow. Same thing happens in companies. Where the company leaders don't get along with some of the top reps and it turns into a war. Like, what? Work to stay in a relationship and create a culture. You've already done a great job with this. I would just encourage you to continue what you've done. And staying in great personal relationship and mutually respectful. That's the number one word, respect. If you can build a foundation of respect between leaders, even if people do it a little bit different than you did. It's like, how many of you have kids? Any of you have kids? As you're raising your children, do you want them to be independent?
Yes.
Ultimately, yes, but not too soon. Right? You want them to listen for a while and then become independent, right? But as they grow up, part of them are going to look at you and say, I don't want to do this part of my life the way Dad did it. I want to do it a little different. You know? I looked at this life experience. I'm going to do this positive, this positive for Dad, but I'm going to not do these other things. And sometimes that creates friction between parents and children as they go out and become independent. The same things happen in our business. So have the maturity to be the one that takes the first step. Have the maturity to be the one that reaches out. Have the maturity to be respectful to the other person. Even if they're being disrespectful to you at the beginning, to build a bridge. Do everything you can to build a bridge. Because we're in a people business. And where it gets weird and where you lose production and where you lose growth is in people relationships. So pay attention. Okay? So you want to identify, you want to mentor, you want to stay in a great relationship. So I'm excited for what you guys are about to do. I see the foundation that you've built over all this period of time. It's been how many years? The company's been around?
20.
20 years. You know, it's crazy. Let me think back. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was, I might not have been there, but I was like, within LaCoria and Hilda is like, gosh, year one, when they just started. And hearing their vision. And it's a blessing that you guys have founders that have the vision that's as strong and clear and consistent as what they have had for this whole time. Building a community that can stand with a customer that gets a great result. There's not every company in network marketing has the customer winning over a long period of time. That was a foundational principle of what your company did to put this all together. Having that vision is a gift. Having that consistency is a gift. And also, what I found really interesting, and not a lot of founders have this same discipline, I wouldn't even say discipline, but wisdom.
Yeah.
To put professionals into the building, like your CEO, really sharp people, know how to run different things from around the world, and let people step into the gifts that they have. That takes wisdom, and it's not every company that does that. Some of you have been with other companies that haven't, and you know what that feels like when it goes wonky. So you got a tremendous gift, and you got a tremendous future. And I guess I'll finish by saying this. Network marketing isn't perfect. It's judged. It's misunderstood. It is attacked at times. But I think first of all, there's no question it's better for the average person. There's no better way for the average person to be able to go out there and to be able to create a future that they can control and also be able to get leverage. It just doesn't exist. I'll debate anybody in the world. You take the price of entry, you take the support connected to that price of entry, you take the downside is next to nothing, you take the upside, which is up to somebody's imagination. The scale, the leverage that can be created, show me. Because in entrepreneurship, you got either solopreneurship, you gotta have a really strong skill, and you're trading time for money, and you're working for yourself. You've got traditional entrepreneurship, which is very expensive and very complicated, and it's gonna be very growingly difficult, increasingly difficult to compete against big guys who have unlimited ammunition to be able to take your idea and do it faster or better. So, I mean, it's tough to start a traditional small business today with all, like, a traditional one or a non-traditional. And what's exciting for me is the world is waking up to a non-traditional approach. They're open to a non-traditional approach. And guess what they're looking for? And increasingly people are finding you. They're looking for a safe place to be able to hang their hat, something that they feel like they can count on 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, that you can build. Not to mention other companies, but I will mention another company. I was here yesterday speaking with Herbalife, the Herbalife organization. And I only say that because I want you to be thinking about where the future can go. Currently, they're about a little over $5 billion wholesale, which is about $7.5, $8 billion a year in revenue. They have 3,000 people here in town from India, and average earnings in the room, 200,000 US, 3,000 just from India. That's the number one market, 1.4 billion just in India. 8,600 employees, 2 million distributors, over 20 million customers. I want you to think about what does 20 million customers look like in Zinzino? With your retention, with your long-term predictability, what does 2 million distributors look like in Zinzino?
You have 20 million only in India.
No, worldwide.
Oh, yeah.
Worldwide. What does that look like? It's just huge, right? It's just mammoth. And the long-term viability of a traditional customer, what you have, tied to the long-term. You guys are what, 500 million pace or something like that for the next year or something like that?
Yes.
You think about where that can go. When you add time, you add energy, but you add leadership. Leadership is the name of the game. Leadership is going to grow based upon the decisions in this room. Okay? So please go home and multiply. Go home and bring some other people. All right? Love you all very much. I'll see you at lunch.
How many here watched GoPro in December? I mean, almost all of you. 6th week of November, and we highly appreciate what you do for the industry. We think that you are, as Richie said at the beginning, you're loud and proud of the profession, and that's why we're plugging into your stuff as well, because we see that people plug into your stuff, they dare to go out and talk to people more open, they dare to go out to recruit more. And that helped them so much because of the belief you give and the conviction of the industry. You've been around for 40 years. So we appreciate what you do, and thank you so much for coming here. And I know we have people in certification as well. Sure. We have people plug into your stuff, and your book will be promoted in 2013. So
New book coming.
a huge book just your flower, and then you and Marina do 6 cigars. It's a special edition of the next one.
This is just ceremonial.
I mean, it's not like you or Marina would smoke them. It's the same as smoke, Marina said. And here's flowers for you. Thank you so much for coming. We highly appreciate you. And also, I just want to say to everybody here, when he talks so highly about Cinzino, don't publish on social media, make it look like he says Cinzino is the best in the world, this, that. Because there's been other companies, when he speaks, just say you have a good company, that use it against them and stuff. We don't do that here. So be respectful as well.
But know that I'm serious.
He means what he said.